Hey whales, happy Friday. It's August the 8th. Let's recap the markets and go over the top stocks to buy for today. And as always, before we jump in, let's review our trades so far for this year to see how we're doing. And we can see we're doing super well, guys. We're up in profits, 90K USD, 60% win rate across the board. And we're super proud of ourselves. We started with 100K at the beginning of this year, guys. So 90K in profits, not too bad for the first 6-7 months of the year. We did end up in July, very solid month overall, 9.9K USD in profit. So hopefully we can keep up this momentum going into August. And again, guys, all the trades that you see, everything is posted from Bank of America to Chipotle here in Discord. So you get the swing trade ideas for those that are busy with their lives. So everything is ready to go for you, as well as the day trade ideas for those that are more active throughout the day. Right, you can trade alongside me. We'll take some trades together, and you get that commentary on exactly when I get in and get out of trades as well here in my trades forum. So I look forward to seeing you here. The link is in the bio for you to join. And yeah, let's break it down. So overall, guys, the top stocks to buy. There are a few different patterns that I love to take a look at. The first one is the inverse head and shoulders pattern, or even the accumulation pattern. These are bottoming formations that are starting to look good, that money's starting to rotate into. The next ones are the bull flags, guys. Continuation patterns within an uptrend that we also love to continue taking a look and position ourselves well in. Pullbacks, so great names that are pulling back within uptrends or certain key levels that we love to take a look at. And then finally, earnings beats, guys. So stocks that beat their earnings in Q2 of this year. We like to keep monitoring them to see if there's other levels that we can go into and take advantage of with these growing EPS numbers. Okay, so with that said, the first thing we want to make sure we keep a lookout for is the S&P 500. So quickly, talking about the S&P, we're expecting further upside to finish off all of a wave 3, 4, 5th wave for this wave 1 high. Okay, so after this, we're looking for this black 2 to come down between maybe the September timeline, right? That's where seasonality kicks in, so it might make sense. So how am I going to be playing this is that right now I am de-risking a lot, right? I'm not going crazy swing trades, 3% risk, 4% risk. I'm toning it down a bit, making it 0.5% to 1% risk on all my trades. And if you take a look at the daily time frames, right, if we do get a pullback, the first level to buy is on the moving averages for the daily level. Okay, the second level is you zoom out to the weekly and you buy on the weekly moving averages. So now you have 1, 2 tranches, and then if it's extremely bearish, which I think it's very unlikely, you're going to buy on the 200 moving average on the weekly as well. Okay, so 3 tranches, get your cash ready just in case. But when you buy these levels across your favorite stocks, you're going to do really well, guys, in the long term. I promise you this. I've been trading for a long time here, and this is sort of how I've been able to get really great prices on stocks over the years. Okay, it's using the moving averages. It's using very key levels to get my entries correct. Okay, so that's how you're going to play it. Okay. So let's move on to the first patterns, which is the inverse head and shoulders patterns. The first one that I love to look at is Alaska Air Group, guys. Alaskan Air, you can take a look on a daily time frame, starting to coil out, looking like an inverse head and shoulders, left shoulder, head, right shoulder, coiling into possibly an accumulation, right, before higher here. Okay, we're making higher highs or higher lows. And we have equal highs, guys. This is an ascending triangle from the bottom, which typically suggests a potential reversal here. So anything around the bottom half of this trend line, around this pattern, okay, is a buy in my opinion for Alaskan Air. So keep a lookout for Alaskan Air as well as the different airline industry. They're starting to look a little bit better here. The next one is John Deere, guys, or Deere and Company. You can see we're starting to accumulate, flagging out nicely on the daily moving average here. So definitely you can have a starter position down here as well as a 200 moving average on the daily as well. This looks pretty good to me in terms of trying to get into a fantastic name. We have earnings coming up as well on the 14th of August of next week. Okay, so if the earnings is, they're probably going to beat, guys. They've been beating earnings every single time. But if the price drops, then you have a clear area of buying around maybe like 480. Okay, so John Deere, great company. Next one that I like is Coca-Cola. You can see Coca-Cola is starting to coil out here into a nice sort of potential wedge formation, right? And as this continues to coil, okay, you're going to start seeing potential buyers stepping in, especially as a defensive name going into September. So Coca-Cola is a name to keep a lookout for. If you take a look at the swing lows from this last pivot, which is the last weekly higher low, you can see Coca-Cola is right within the 618 level, 786. So this is a very strong level for a lot of buyers to typically step in. Now, if Coca-Cola does break down for whatever reason, you're looking at 64 as a second buy-in, okay? Let's keep going for MasterCard. So MasterCard is at an interesting level, right? Starting to coil a little bit, starting to accumulate as well, okay? There are some, levels that are very interesting here, okay? So looking okay here. Look at Walmart before it broke out. Same pattern as MasterCard is doing right now. And you can also take a look at sort of the brother of MasterCard, Visa, if the charts can load up. Okay, Visa is struggling a little bit compared to MasterCard. However, Visa is coming down to some pretty interesting levels here at the 618. So could this be a tell sign that if Visa finds support at the 618 here, MasterCard's going to find support as well? So keep a lookout for both companies. They are really good names moving forward. And then the next name is T-Mobile, guys. We've been mentioning about T-Mobiles for quite some time. Look at the inverse head and shoulder starting to form here. And you're basically getting into a very amazing leader in telecommunications, guys. Right? This is a really nice potential pattern here. If T-Mobile can break out of this trend line resistance, this is sky high. This is sky high, ready to go for T-Mobile. Okay. Finally, another telecom name, Verizon, looking very similar to Coca-Cola in a way, very defensive, right? High dividend name against, possible upcoming volatility. Could make sense to have a starter position within Verizon, looking like a potential wedge as well, on top of the 618 level. So, good confluence overall. All right, so that concludes the inverse head and shoulders and accumulation patterns. Let's go to the bull flags, guys. So we'll rapid fire this, and the first one is Alibaba. So Alibaba is a very interesting name. You can see we're starting to, let's go to the daily. We're starting to form some higher lows on Alibaba, right? And we're on top of the breakout from the prior trendline resistance. And you can also draw one right now as well, but you can see it's getting very close to potential breakout of that resistance as well. We're starting to flag out quite a bit on the daily time frame as well. Okay, so keep a lookout for Alibaba. I think China's going to do something interesting here. Next one is Carnival Corporation. So as you guys know, I've been bullish on sort of I would say the leisure names, the entertainment names, right? And something about the cruise lines is making me believe that this is a possible play here, especially with the moving averages on the daily coming up. Look at that inflection point with the flag forming above the daily moving averages, very bullish for a chance at continuations higher, okay? So we love bull flags on the moving averages on uptrend, so keep a lookout. Next one is Dino, guys, HF Sinclair Corporation. Another nice flag starting to form here with the moving averages, right? We got that golden cross, so looking very bullish on the daily. You can buy the dips on this sort of moving average play with the inflection points ready to go. Another name that I like is Google. As you guys know, I've been in Google forever, right? And you can see Google is starting to form possibly an ascending triangle here, ready to break out. We are getting some higher highs and higher lows. Again, it can retest the bottom of this triangle, right? But overall, around these levels does make sense possibly for a starter position. You have a 62.7% chance of this breaking and going towards the upside. Ascending triangles have a 62% chance of going with the trend. So, you can have your stop loss underneath this 184 level just in case it does do something funky, or you can just get rid of that stop loss, buy a starter position here, as well as the daily moving average, and you're ready to go for a good average on Google moving forward in the future. Hasbro, so a king name in sort of the children's toys, right? If you like that, if you have kids and you're buying toys all the time, might as well go into Hasbro, because every time you spend money at Hasbro, you're gonna feel better about yourself, right? So keep a lookout for this flag. You have the 200 moving average starting to form. You got the support of the moving average as well, looking like a bullish name. Look at the daily, right? You can wait for the daily as well as an inflection point. Broke to all-time highs or broke that high. So Hasbro's looking a little bit better here. Another name is IBIT. IBIT, as you guys know, is the Bitcoin ETF. So Bitcoin is starting to flag out a bit. So if you're a fan of crypto, if you don't have crypto in your portfolio, this could make sense to get into some of these names here. You have the moving averages on the 4-hour, the daily's coming up, right? We did break to all-time high, so it is opening up a bullish sequence. So any dip is considered a buy. You can buy on the moving average here as well as the 200 down here for your 2 positions. For Kratos defense. So defense names are starting to look a little bit better as well, right? Like RTX, Kratos, you can see we're starting to bull flag here on the 4-hour. Look for the daily as well to eventually catch up to price and make this a pretty interesting name moving forward. I think it has potential. Lam Research, a little bit more choppier here, basically more of a semiconductor play. But I do like Lam. They're a great name if you wanted to get into a little bit of semiconductor exposure here moving forward, okay? So keep a lookout for Lam. Next one is Magnite. Magnite is an interesting name as well. We had an earnings beat. Very good numbers overall, guys. So could this continuously go up? You have sort of this flag starting to form. Daily moving average is starting to catch up as well. So a lot of these names are starting to potentially flag out here and look okay. Again, another cruise line names. Norwegian Cruise can turn into a flag here, right? But I also see a pennant very similar like this to Google in a way, right? So either or, starter positions does make sense in the cruise lines if you wanted to take a swing at it. RTX, like I've mentioned, for the defense names alongside Kratos, nice flag formation. I think this can push up higher. For Synopsys, another great name in semiconductors. Very nice flag starting to form. Nice pullbacks starting to happen. You can look at the daily to time sort of these levels. We're still very far away from the daily moving averages, so you can take your time with this one. Might need some more time. We did break to all-time high, so this is a bullish sequence. Okay, so keep a lookout. Teradyne, another name here, did beat its earnings, right? Flagging nicely on the 4-hour time frame after earnings beat. So these are great, peg candles to take a shot at as well. And then finally for Wynn Resorts, another name. So we did miss earnings on Wynn. However, bulls are stepping in because they love the flag here. Look at that, perfect on the lower half of that flag. Starting to look okay. I mean, you can wait for the moving averages to start to come up and creep around price. We did break above all-time highs again, so this is a bullish sequence. So you can buy the dips on bullish sequences. So those conclude the flags, guys, moving forward. Great names overall. So keep a lookout for those bullish continuations when the daily moving averages start pushing up. Okay, might take a few weeks, but these names are really nice. All right, and then finally the pullback names. Okay, so the first one is AMD. So as you guys know, we did get into AMD on this pullback here in Discord with the swing trade signals. So it's starting to look good. If it pulls back one more time and holds this low, you can try to go in on this inverse head and shoulders pattern for AMD. Okay, that is a hedge long, right? You'd rather be in long here, but if it does pull back, you have an inverse head and shoulders pattern ready to go possibly for AMD. Now again, these patterns are tricky because it can turn into a double correction like this, guys. All right, before higher. So don't get fooled. Okay, you can buy and buy again on the 200 moving average. Don't be scared, guys. Yeah. Another name that I like is Cheesecake Factory, guys. Cheesecake Factory is starting to look pretty interesting here. Nice pullback, great earnings, continuous uptrend, broke above all-time highs viciously, guys. We're hugely above the all-time high, so very nice. Okay, so very bullish name. Any pullback is considered a nice name on cake. Cheesecake Factory against the daily moving averages here, which is coming up very nicely. CMG, Chipotle, you guys can see we're on the weekly 200 moving average. Every time price has been around these levels, it's signaled a bottom in the past, yeah? So if you want to take a gamble and a position into one of the best fast casual companies in the world, Chipotle is your stock you want to be in. Now, if you take a look, there is a from the swing lows to the swing highs. We take the 618 levels. We are a little bit almost there at the 618 level. So you can front run the algos and have a starter position now, or you can add maybe around, within these levels, right? Anywhere around these levels makes sense for another position, okay? So keep a lookout as well for Chipotle. I mean, it's a fantastic brand, fantastic name. You can't go wrong. Okay, for Coinbase, you guys know I've been in Coinbase. We called the low for Coinbase here to buy in at 183. Reached all the way up to 439, guys. Retraced very viciously, and you can see we're right on the moving averages here. We called this yesterday right here at the lows, guys, at 294 to possibly get in as a starter position. Still within that level, yeah? So makes sense for a potential in on Coinbase if you wanted cryptocurrency exposure as well. For FizServ, you guys know, pulled back quite a bit here. A lot of interest in FizServ, right? You can see we are at the 200 moving average once again. The signal at the bottom in the past historicals, right? Let's keep going back. Let's see. Every time we reach the 200 moving average on the weekly time frame, is signal to bottom of FizServ. So, this would make sense for a chance to at least have a starter position within it and see what you guys can do, right? Take the swing lows to the swing highs. It is around very nice support level. Maybe it can come down to 119. So keep a lookout for FizServ. Interesting company. Good idea. Another one that I like is possibly IBM. IBM, again, on a daily 200 moving average, right? Possible bottom formation starting to form. Great pullbacks on IBM. All you guys know what IBM is, what they do. It's a fantastic company, and the weekly moving averages are coming down slowly as well. So you can have that inflection point there and another starter position if it breaks lower because of seasonality. Rocket Lab. Rocket Lab has been one of our biggest winners, guys, right? We went up 100% on Rocket Lab this year. And you guys can see, or alongside the Discord group, you guys can see starting to wedge out as well. Okay, so possible buy-in, had its earnings, right? So pullback on Rocket Lab, okay, can form a potential inverse head and shoulders as well. So same thing with AMD, potential inverse head and shoulders on the lows, on the moving averages on the 4-hour or the daily. You can wait for inflection points on the daily to creep up if you want to be a little bit more conservative. Spotify. So Spotify on the moving averages, again, on the daily here, right after earnings miss. So, we love to buy on the daily moving averages on uptrending stocks. So it makes sense for a potential starter position if you wanted to get into Spotify with another add on to 200 if it does break lower for seasonality and does a double correction. All right, so that ends the pullbacks. Let's go over the earnings beats companies, guys. Let's rapid fire through this. First one is Amazon. You guys know we've been in Amazon for quite some time. We also added on 213 levels, right? Great reaction. Again, it can turn into a double, guys, and actually do something like this for seasonality before higher. So make sure you have some cash ready just in case it, tests these levels again. But ultimately, we'll call it higher for now, right? We'll call the higher low for all-time highs. Let's see what Amazon can continue doing. For ASML, again, it is, we've been mentioning about ASML for quite some time on this channel. I do like it on the 618 level. It doesn't have to reach down there, but if it does, makes sense for a buy. It looks like it may be the lows in, and, you have sort of this wedge formation or at least bullish divergence forming to possibly make a reaction. Right, so ASML is okay. American Express, guys. So similarly to MasterCard and Visa, we are at the moving averages here. Okay, making that higher low. So let's see if the 200 daily can hold the price. If not, right, expect tests around these levels. You have the 618. Let's take a look from the swing lows to the swing highs. Yeah, down at 258. Good confluence with the left sort of support here. Okay, so keep a lookout for American Express lower. Great name, great earnings as well. DHI, as you guys know, we've been in DHI with the Discord group since the lows here. You can see from the 200 moving average on the weekly. This is everything that we've caught as well, right? Every time it's signaled to bottom, so we're going to keep hold of DHI for all-time highs, in my opinion. You guys know how bullish I am on home builders. We've been calling it from the lows. Okay, for Duolingo had a massive earnings beat, right? So pulled back a little bit here. So could this be a chance for a potential? Yes, possibly, right? Pulled back to the 618 levels. So can be a buy here as well as lower, okay, at 296 to 242. So two levels. If it does break lower, right, you have the weekly that's acted as support. Yeah. So it looks pretty good. Looks pretty good in my opinion for Duolingo to add around the 370s. And then another one at 300 to 242. 3 tranches to be happy with your average in the future, okay? JP Morgan, I like it a little bit lower, guys, for financials. Starting to look like a head and shoulders pattern on financials here, right? So for me, not getting into any financials at this point, maybe it is an early indicator of what's to come for the S&P 500. So financials might be leading. So we got to keep a lookout for these levels here in the future across the moving averages on the daily as well as the 200. Now, last time, the financials were actually the first ones to go up during the bottom of the April lows. So could financials continuously be the leading indicator of what's to come? Yes, it can be. So just be careful. All right, for Meta starting to flag out a little bit. Again, still far away from the moving averages. I do see a potential wave 1, 2, 3, 4, possibly working on a 5th wave higher, or maybe the 5th wave's already in and we have this bearish divergence and, you know, it's going to put in a 3-wave sequence here before higher. We don't know yet, okay? But at these levels, not the best in my opinion. I did get in at the lows back here, right, before the April lows back in March. So doing really well on Meta. Another one that I like is Topgolf Callaway, guys. You know how bullish I am on golf. We had a great earnings beat across the moving averages, signal to low. So you can keep buying the dips on golf, right? Or if it dips lower, you have really good support on the trendline support for Topgolf Callaway brands. Microsoft looking great, right? We are in from the lows as well for the Discord group. Okay, so any dip is considered a buy. I mean, we are getting very franky here. Trendline supports, moving averages, just going parabola here. If it does come down quite a bit on a double correction, we'd like to buy on the moving averages. Right now, it's not a buy in my opinion. Only for day trades if you wanted to keep going with the trend. For Micron, we mentioned this yesterday that a starter position on the moving averages does make sense. We got a nice reaction. Again, can turn into a double if seasonality comes into play or if the low's in, right? You can buy on the dips here. But overall, okay. Right, I'm not sure about Micron in my portfolio, but I know some people are more well versed with the semiconductors. Another one is Cloudflare. We've had a little bit of a drop on FTNT, right? One of his main competitors. So maybe there could be pressure on cybersecurity. So keep a lookout. Any larger dip is considered a buy on Cloudflare as well, but I wouldn't be chasing at this level. For Netflix is, again, we've mentioned this over and over again, on the moving averages, starter position does make sense. If it does do a dip on the 200 daily, right, that's another starter position as well that you can do and have 2 levels ready to go with a good average. PepsiCo starting to show a little bit of sign here, right? I would love it to break 160 or even 155 to get a higher high for the first time in a while, but you can see PepsiCo's in a defensive name with Coca-Cola that we mentioned earlier, could potentially signal a bottom here with seasonality coming around, with people going into more safer dividend playing names, okay? Another one is PayPal. Had a good earnings beat, however, retraced quite a bit. I do like it at the 618 level lower, okay? And if it does break, I mean, you have this level at 50 as PayPal ready to go here, as well as 41. So 3 tranche buys for you if you haven't gotten to PayPal, if you like PayPal for the future. For me, I'm not really a PayPal user. I only like investing in companies that I like to use. I'm more of a Stripe user. So yeah, not for me. Reddit, you guys know how bullish I am on Reddit, guys. I've been mentioning this over and over again. It's going to be the next huge social media company, right? All the AI language models, they're going to just use Reddit posts to create their thoughts, right? So keep a lookout for Reddit. I still see very big upside. I think we can test all-time highs. Once we do, it's probably going to retrace back. You can buy on the next dip. Right now, this is probably not the best price to get into, okay? For Rocket, we've been bullish on homes, guys, right? Home builders, homes, DHI. So we've been in rocket from the lows as well. So we're going to keep going, right? We've been in lows here. It's at the median here. So not the best levels to add, in my opinion. Wait for dips or, wait for moving averages on a weekly or even the daily to start catching up the price. And you can use that as an inflection point to get in. Shopify. Guys, we got into Shopify and we went up like 20%, right, for its earnings. So we love Shopify. Great name. Again, any pullback is considered a buy. I think Shopify is going to be an amazing name in the future. You can buy on the dips, on the moving averages. It's a great name, guys. Great name. TMDX. So starter positions does make sense on this moving average. If you wanted to get into TMDX, if you haven't already, this is the time, right? Build a starter positions around these levels, guys. I'm telling you, it makes sense on the moving averages. If you wanted to do another play, you can buy on the weekly as well. Okay. TSM's an absolute monster, right? Continues to build out here. Not the levels for me to be happy about, right? To buy in. I like it a little bit lower on the moving averages here, so a skip for me, but an amazing company. And like we mentioned about Visa, I do like it to 618. If it does break lower, I think this is very unlikely, but anything's possible. 280 is also a level for Visa to potentially get into, okay? So that concludes it, guys. Now, again, all the entries, targets, stop losses, everything is signaled in Discord. So, again, you get the day trade ideas, you get the swing trade ideas, long-term ideas from our portfolios, the signals of actually when we get in, wheel option signals as well. You get the 100x baggers accounts, guys. So these are stocks that we're building positions in. We're already up 40%, 50% in just 1 or 2 months. So you got to join. And you get all this access, guys. Every single day, you also get access to all the charts that's updated, so you guys know exactly what's going to happen. You know when to buy in. You know what your bias is. This is game changer. I'm telling you. And I look forward to seeing you here. You're going to make a lot of money with us. We have over 2,000 members, guys. 2,000 members here. So come join, and let's have a great time. See ya.